if Iceburgy can prove himself even further going into this, or if Allister will continue to be the dominant force that he is, as we go into our final match from the first round of the Players' Cup. Oh, and we're finally going to see it come out. The Aegislash coming out from Allister, a character. I mean, you know, I was just talking about how many characters he plays, but Aegislash has not been one of them until very, very recently. So this is the first time that we're really going to see it come out in such a high-stakes situation on broadcast. I'm really excited to see if it works out or not. Iceburgy, of course, going to be sticking with that Garchomp. He does have some other characters he's quite good with, including, for example, Gengar, but Allister, I'm so excited to see this Aegislash.
Yeah, it's funny, but we were talking about Allister working with so many different characters. Aegislash, of course, now being one of those in his pocket to work with and already taking a lot of pressure. I like the wait right there. Allister actually baiting out Iceburgy to go in for an attack, and you saw he was able to shield it and now still keep on a lot of that pressure onto Iceburgy, closing in that gap and dealing a good amount of chip damage here at the same time.
Oh yeah, this is going to be such a high damage matchup. The one downside is that if Iceburgy lands a single hit on Allister, speaking of, look at this life bar just deplete. Oh, drops the combo unfortunately, but still took him to half HP, and there's still a chance here. The Victini coming out, going to give auto crits. Victini on both sides! I haven't seen two players using Victini at the same time for so long, but the 4Y is going to launch for a full combo on crit, with that Victini does give. Not quite enough though to KO, still has a chance on Iceburgy's side.
And then you already see Allister is going to be able to actually build up into that burst meter first, and he's going to be able to try to take that on forward with Victini actually helping him out right there too. But Iceburgy, you saw at the very end, he was trying to catch that number onto Allister despite Allister opening up really strongly.
Yeah, he is going to get the first knockdown this time, though, and the corner pressure is going to be very deadly. I mean, the counter options out of Aegislash are very good, but you can play rock, paper, scissors so well with this character, and that's why we see the command grab come out right there. But Allister making the correct read, managing to fight his way out, and he really wants to create that space to be able to get the damage that this character can do. That's going to be a great start. Walks under him, actually, to get the Oki on knockdown. Unfortunately, that puts him in that corner, and this is going to be very close to it. I want to see if Allister's just going to burst off the bat here or try to save it for another round.
Yeah, he's going to burst actually right here. You were mentioning in the Victini now coming forward in from Allister, trying to attack on a lot of the extra pressure and trying to close in the gap. He does manage to find into Iceburgy's personal space, and now shifting the face after getting in that grab. Does it again, knows that Iceburgy's playing extremely defensively right here, but Iceburgy has his burst meter right here as well that he could utilize, and he does manage to pull the trigger on it since Allister does have that first round advantage in the pocket, and Victini now gonna answer right back overall with Allister trying to close out this very close game that we're seeing right here from Iceburgy, but Iceburgy, he gets shut down after Allister anticipates the drawback all the way in, and he saw the approach coming in from a mile away.
Yeah, that was a really good option to be able to deal with anything that could come out of the dig. Not a lot of characters have a tool that's got sort of one size fits all in that situation, but Allister knew exactly what to do. Allister actually has so many games played against Roxo that we saw earlier in this tournament, so his experience against this character is one of the highest, I would say, probably just around. However, with this character, maybe not as much. It's showing that he knows the matchup at least. But we'll see if this Aegislash continues to work as well as it did in that last game.
So far, though, Iceburgy instead has made some adaptations around Allister, who is taking a lot of that damage. Despite having that buff at the ready, though, Iceburgy does get that grab on Wake Up, and he didn't get the perfect here, Chef, but despite that, this is a statement to be made with Iceburgy taking that first round convincingly.
Oh yeah, I mean, we almost had a situation like this in the first game. Just there was an unfortunate drop at the end of actually the very same combo that we saw, and the fact that it lost him the Oki was a pretty big deal too. And you can see just how fast. Oh no, I was going to say Garchomp again. Oh, that was really lucky. That was an error that was not punished because Aegislash turned around, and in fact, Alex is now the one that's going to pay for trying to punish the mistake.
And he took so much of that damage Garchomp could put on right here, and the burst meter is gonna go online for Iceburgy instead. Allister doesn't even have Victini to help him out in increasing some of that burst online, and now being able to fully utilize Iceburgy, now trying to tack on so much of that damage. He gets that grab, and Allister is gonna do it in.
Yeah, that is gonna be more than enough. That was a dominant game. We saw barely, I mean, I honestly, not more than like a single solid hit out of Allister in either of those rounds. I want to see if he's going to switch. No, committing to the Aegis Slash, a pretty risky move. As you can see, both of these characters, such high damage, like I was saying. Aegis Slash, a little bit on the low side as far as HP, so this character can just melt. You can see 150 HP difference between these two characters. And so if you make just a few wrong mistakes, we see something like we saw last game.
Ooh, and talk about mistakes right there. Iceburgy calls out Allister, although now Allister having that buff at the ready to deal a lot of that damage coming forward, gets that grab, and that's going to be a good chunk of damage here, as well as now better positioning for Allister. Iceburgy, though, closes in that gap, immediately shifts the phase and wants to play a lot more close quarters here, but Allister doesn't let it happen. He gets that grab and shifts her all the way right back to field phase.
Oh, but the Shadow Sneak Oki is going to lead to another grab, and now Iceburgy's so low, but in rage, Garchomp can do so much more damage on top of the damage you're used to. On Allister just building up those buffs, goes in for yet another grab. And yeah, this is, you can just see how volatile this matchup can be. There's been so many rounds where one person has basically not even got a combo off, you know? It's just been like a one little hit, one tiny thing, and then the rest of it, they're basically just spent in the corner, taking damage.
Yeah, especially since Allister, at least in that first round, played a lot more grab-heavy right there. Does go for the wake-up defense, though, and Iceburgy keeps Allister pressured in this corner now, building up some of that burst very soon. He will have the Victini close it out, so that way he does have that burst meter at the ready, as well as that crit buff as well. And Allister now utilizing the burst meter to keep Iceburgy out of that personal space. It's not going to do it enough, though, and Iceburgy is still tacking on a lot of that extra pressure and damage. Allister reversing the situation, though, now, as he does get out of that position. Iceburgy's going to answer right back.
Oh, just going for a raw burst. I want to see if Allister has a good answer for this. You can backdash this. He gets shield broken, but he's going to get a full punish in the corner. He misses it. He mistimed it. That should have been a combo, but now Allister, okay, he's still going to get another chance. He's in rage himself now. One of the highest grab damages in the game. And now he's going to have this field phase zoning advantage, plus the Victini double buff here. The dig.
Especially yeah, now that he has to restore some of his health with Allister, he's gone. Iceburgy putting himself in the driver's seat now.
That was a huge risk. If that was not correct right there, that would have easily been the entire game. But Iceburgy had a lot of confidence, and it paid off. And this is a very close match so far. Nice counterattacks with a not fully charged Iron Head. That's another really big risk, but when you play Garchomp, you're used to making like risky calls because you just know you don't have the HP and the damage to make them worth your while. He's taking the advantage here. He's just about at burst, which is going to be a pretty big deal. Oh, they're both going to be at burst now.
And that was a good call out right there from Allister, knowing that he was going to land right there in that radius for the beam and being able to pull the burst meter now. Iceburgy, you may mention it, is also holding on to that meter. And with this being the final round to set both of these players over to match point right here, Allister wants to make sure that he can still tack on some of that extra pressure, especially with the health difference. And now he pulls over the synergy burst over to Iceburgy, but Iceburgy was ready. He saw Allister try to close in that gap, knew what he wanted, and now he's going to be able to answer back with a burst meter himself.
I don't know what that even hit. That might be enough. It is going to be enough as Iceburgy is going to take that game. I have no idea what Allister did right there. Maybe he started up a jump right as the burst attack happened, but clearly whatever it was just a perfectly timed burst attack calling him out. And we are going to see the switch from Allister to Sceptile, another one of his tournament characters that I don't think we see. Well, actually, you know, we did see it against Shadowcat actually earlier in the region finals, but it's we're going to see why he chose it up against Garchomp. Iceburgy really just taking control of this matchup and making all the right reads.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, too, with Allister making this swap over. It's going to force Iceburgy to change up some of that playstyle. Like, he had made some of the adaptation towards Aegis Slash. And going forward, though, Allister, he really shined on the Sceptile for the regional finals. And now getting this grab, though, Iceburgy's going to be dealing a lot of that damage. The buff is going to wear out onto Allister, and he's going to try to reverse the situation as he is going to build into that burst meter.
Oh, yeah, and look at this. Look at how varied this synergy bar is. I mean, they're pretty early into this game. There hasn't even been that much damage done, but just all the options that Allister has chosen have been the ones that build you the most synergy. And so he's going to probably want to save it now. He could have used it aggressively to try to close this round out, but he's already just so far ahead that he might get the guaranteed grab breaker. Yeah, that was actually just an unblockable, and he knows he can take that. So a very solid round to Allister. The switch so far working out perfectly.
Allister wants to try to even up this series soon right now, especially with this swap over to the Sceptile. Now being able to go right in though, and he has that burst meter that you made mention of into this round, knowing that he had a lot of that extra advantage over Iceburgy's health pool. Now being able to dig right into it, he does manage to get that grab immediately afterwards, and being able to see that Allister is playing a lot more aggressively on the Sceptile. Iceburgy has to make some of those adjustments, but unfortunately he does not have the time to do so. Immediately goes for the defense, and he manages to get out of that situation, but now he's trapped up against the wall.
Yeah, he manages to find a way out, actually, and all he needs is one good opening here, but Allister's just been proven so correct every single time on all of his defensive reads. Manages to jump over the 8Y, that's a pretty big deal. Gets hit by the trap, but Allister didn't have enough time to get the full combo off of it. This is going to be Rage for Iceburgy. He could activate Victini if he gets a little space, but this is looking tough. Not going to have Burst for a little bit, and Allister with Burst of his own, he can use it whenever he wants, and Giga Drain's always going to be an option to try and prevent that meter build. Of course, at this point, if he lands it, he's almost just going to win the game off of it. Bergie's going to have to make a big read here. This is a big first hit. This is a gigantic first hit. Look at this damage. Oh!
The amount of damage getting tacked on right now to Allister after being able to have so much control of this second round right now. Now calling the burst meter himself. Tokix is coming forward and being able to see Allister. He's running away. There's 7 seconds, 6 on the board now. Chef Allister needs to try to closing this in, and it's going to be the burst that's coming forward from Allister to close out this game.
Yeah, the confirm off of the 5Y in field, a very, very tight confirm. But Allister doing very well with this Sceptile. This isn't an easy pick as far as player-to-player matchup either, because one of the players that Iceburgy plays all the time is actually the qualifier from Oceania from the last Players' Cup, Antwerp, who plays the same exact character, one of the best in the world of the same character, but Allister's style is so different that I think maybe Iceburgy's having a little bit of a difficult time adjusting. We'll see if this is the game that he can do it.
And especially having the Togekiss that he could utilize at the very start to increase his speed, he's going to be able to actually close in that gap around Iceburgy rather quickly as well. So now being able to still tack on a lot of this pressure onto Iceburgy, Allister, he's trying to keep him at bay. I like the movement going in from Iceburgy, though. He's trying to find a win of opportunity, and he does so right here. Going forward, though, Iceburgy is still a little bit of a disadvantage with the burst meter going in favor of Allister, and I like this keep away game that he's trying to play. He catches Iceburgy right there with the command grab, and now he's going to be able to close in that gap.
Yeah, and he's going to land another hit, setting up, of course, that jump Y that we're very used to seeing in field phase. Another grab, and Allister is just looking so dominant in this matchup now that he's chosen this character. Oh, and one more hit. That should be enough, I think. It is, and Allister, after being down an entire game, is now up in the set on match point. This is not going to be easy, especially the fact that Allister has burst, fully charged. Victini is up, and all it's going to take is one big read. Maybe we're going to get there to a burst versus burst to end this out.
At least try to make it flush at the end right here, Chef. I mean, Allister right now, he's still dealing a lot of that extra damage. He doesn't even need to call in the burst just yet. And he may want to do it in a flashy way with Iceburgy taking a lot of that damage. He's stuck against the wall, wants to make sure he can stuff out a potential jump to get out of that position right there. The pressure going on, and the Victini's going to get called in right here. So at least try to make things up. And it actually hit Allister, and he gets in the follow-up. Chef, Allister's going to answer right back with the burst meter of himself. And he actually reverse this? Iceburgy has the burst that he can work with around Allister.
He needs to burst right now. No! Big mistake! He's going to lose synergy gauge for getting hit with the Giga Drain, and now he's in such a tough spot, and that's going to be it. He really needed to activate that burst the moment that he had a chance, but Allister, knowing that the best way to prevent that from happening was going to be from draining with Giga Drain. Super smart choice.